Hello there guys and gals. Here's another video of the tiny house or tiny cabin. I want to say tiny cabin. I've always been the type that has more so kind of gravitated towards a cabin type more so than a typical kind of standard house. With that being said, there's really nothing other than almost being built like a square and having a pitch roof and some windows and doors. There's nothing really that, and being built of wood, of course. This place has not very much in common with your typical house. Obviously square footage, but also too a good part of it is just choice of building materials. As you can see here, I've been quite busy since the last video. I've managed to get a I guess if you want to say the kind of the riskier or harder part of the cedar siding up. Yes, you heard that right, cedar siding, lap siding. First time I've ever installed it. I've never, to my memory, I've never really installed siding to begin with. There's not a big science to it. Just with cedar, you just got to be a little more, maybe a little bit more gentle than maybe with vinyl or some other types of siding. Just because cedar can split really easily, and once you split a board, about your only option is just to pull that board right off the side of the house, which I've done a few times. So with these boards, they're 12 feet long. They cost an average of $10 per board. Each time you pull a 12-foot board off, that's $10 more you have to spend, or you know, what have you there. As some of you guys might remember, you can go back and look at the other video if you're trying to picture it. But at one point I had scaffolding, some 2x10s there running out the front of this tiny cabin to be able to get up top there and be able to get done the work I needed to get done without having to go out and, you know, rent scaffolding, have that, and then just, you know, have to haul it back here. Once again, I do not own a truck, so. As you can see, I've got done there with the top. I did that primarily first, so I was able then, once I was done caulking it and sealing it and everything else there, to pull that scaffolding back and drop that scaffolding and then move down and finish sheathing that strip there. There was a strip of sheathing out on purpose for those boards. But anyhow, so I got that sheathing on, Tyvek'd it, or got the house wrap on there. And then as you see here, I think it's called Z-flashing. I've got a strip of Z-flashing there under the bottom course of siding. And then under that I've got just a 1x8 piece of, 2 pieces of cedar, just cedar board, to kind of bridge that gap there. And then underneath that I have another piece of Z-flashing, which my cedar lap siding will then run from the bottom, and then I'm going to flash the bottom edge too. It's going to run from the bottom all the way there up to that Z-flashing. As you can see here, I've kind of sort of finished off the, you know, the ends here there of the roof pitch. I chose to run those boards up and down for a couple reasons. I thought maybe aesthetically it might look a little better, but two also is if any water gets behind there, which that's Tyvek'd as well, if any water gets right behind there, it'll just run right down those seams. So with that being said, that's the primary reason I did it that way. And also there obviously wanted to use cedar to finish that off. But I've still got my scaffolding up here on the edge of the roof, and the reason for that is I've still got to run my vent for my plumbing, which I haven't started my plumbing. I need to get up there and run the vent, put the boot on. I thought about running it out the wall, which I talked to the county and they said I could do that instead of breaking a roof. My only issue with that is at the height I would have to run that, like my stack for my sewer line, that with the back window open, I might get some of those vapors into the house. So with that being said, I'm probably going to just go ahead and run it through the roof, get it sealed up real good. But I left those boards and stuff up there in place to be able to facilitate doing that. And trust me, I'm definitely looking forward to dropping that off of there. It's been a great help and great use to set that up that way. But I want to get this wrapped up, you know, primarily at least on the outside of the house, get it all wrapped up. I've been busy here today. Sorry if this video is going to be a little long, but I've been busy here today, trying to, you know, just button up some pieces. You know, the last couple days I've been working on these ends here, working on the trim boards, getting those in place, and then I've been flashing my doors. I originally installed these doors, had them in place, and always with the intention of pulling back out and flash them. And I watched a few videos. My top windows are definitely flashed differently than my doors, because the window that I watched recently was a different video and kind of, I think, just did a better job, just a lot more barriers against the weather. And some of that I can go into. I took some photos. I flashed this door here, other than the drip cap there. I flashed this the other day. But the back door is exactly the same as this door. I pulled that out today just a little bit ago. I got done with that, and got that all flashed just as the same as the front. And in addition to, I got the trim boards around it. Now these windows here up front, I still need to pull those out and flash those and caulk them, and I still need to install my windows. I've got 5 more windows to install along the sides of the house and get those all flashed up. I was going to do some more today, and small oversight, I ran out of some of that Tyvek tape. And what I'm doing is I'm using this product. It's called Tight Seal. I'm not endorsing a product or anything, but I will say it's a really good product, and if you know what I'm talking about, it's sticky stuff, and I think it'll do the job. But anyhow, so I put this Tight Seal down, and then I come back over top and I run my my vapor barrier edge with that Tyvek tape and tape that to the Tight Seal flange. So I ran out of that, and I didn't want to, we're getting some weather moving in. I think you can probably see the clouds. We've been getting clouds like this, but, you know, so with all that being said, it's getting towards the end of the day. I didn't want to break the barriers too much here and not be able to put them back together before we potentially got some heavy rains. So, but anyhow, last thing here on this video real quick is this cap up here up top. You see that cap at the very peak of the roof. When I put these gable pieces on, I don't know if it's a couple things are going on there. For one, the pitch is really steep. It's a 14-12 pitch. I probably mentioned that before. But also too, you know, I think I got in a haste a little bit, and, you know, got my ridge cap on there and had that all fastened down, and you know, with my ridge vent in place, and didn't want to pull that apart. So I was trying to run my gable vent up underneath there to such a sharp degree, and it won't quite, you know, meet where it was supposed to, you know, and, you know, seal that up. And so anyhow, I one skill I do have is a little bit of wire feed welding and fabrication, which I picked up through a college course quite a few years ago. But anyhow, these caps are some thin pieces of steel that I bought, that I took some measurements, made kind of a pattern out of cardboard, got that all figured out with the angles, and then I took that and traced it out on a piece of steel, cut the steel out, ground the edges down, spot welded it, brought them out here to test fit them. They fit pretty well. I think they'll do the job. And then I took them and primed them real good, and painted them, and fastened them down with some sealant tape up there too along the edges, which, you know, I don't know that was really needed. I just mostly want to keep that water off that front edge, off that front tip, where that didn't quite meet up. So I think this will do the job. We'll see. If I ever have to get back up there, you know, I'll just get back up there and, you know, fix the problem. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. There's going to be some photos of that. But anyhow, sorry about not having another video before this one. But once again, once you get busy and going, well, for one, the batteries either go dead in the camera and you just fail to replace them and fail to bring the camera with you, which was partly the case. That you just want to, you know, keep going, you know, with the time you have. You know, a little bit of time on the weekends and a little bit of time there after work before it gets too late. So, but anyhow, want to get this siding here finished up soon. May not do another video until the siding's done and the windows are in. Show you guys there. But I definitely want to get moving on to the inside. So got a fair amount of more work to do before my next inspection. And once this next inspection is done, and that'll be after my wiring and my roughing wiring and plumbing and framing is done, that get started on the electric, or sorry, be able to insulate the walls. So that's a big deal. Moving through this process, that's a great thing. Get it all insulated up, get through that inspection, then I think I'll be able to put my final coverings on, my wall, cover my walls and with either some drywall or some tongue and groove pine. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that more later. But I think it's coming along pretty well. So once again, a little disclaimer: I am not a builder, not a framer, none of that. Trust me, there's mistakes I've made, but you know what? As long as you choose to, you can learn from those and move forward. And most of those you can correct. So, but anyhow, thanks for watching the videos, and look for that webpage, and you guys take care. Take it easy.